These are 10 characters that Family Guy killed off forever. But before we get into that, thanks to Rocket Money for sponsoring today's video. More about them later. First up is Mr. Jonathan Weed, Peter's former boss at the Happy-Go-Lucky Toy Factory. Weed appeared in the show's very first episode, starting a recurring trend of him being disappointed in Peter.
Peter, I like you, but I need you to be more than just eye candy around here.
Unfortunately, this cutie is also incredibly negligent as he lets several harmful toys make it to shelves. Maybe we should be asking who's putting gasoline and razors on the assembly line. No? Makes too much sense, I guess.
Your negligence has damaged this company's reputation. You're fired!
Oh, geez, for how long?
Given this is a cartoon, I'd say until the end of the episode. Gotta keep that status quo. Mr. Weed never really had a ton of big moments, with his sexuality being his main joke throughout the series.
Peter, our new secret weapon is this very attractive paraplegic.
Sometimes it's subtle, other times it's a bit more direct.
I'll take this. No calls.
Maybe he's just gonna use it as a back massager. Mr. Weed would make it all the way to the 3rd season, with his final appearance being in the 9th episode, Mr. Saturday Night, where Peter tried to earn a promotion.
Invite Mr. Weed over for dinner and show him what you have to offer the company.
I think just one dinner at this house will give him enough grounds to fire Peter on the spot, but sure, let's give it a try. Just don't be nervous.
Hello, Peter. How are you?
Fine! Please come in.
In actuality, the dinner impresses Mr. Weed quite a bit. Peter better fix that quickly.
Mr. Weed, I don't care what the guys at work say. I never thought you were an effeminate weirdo.
Luckily, Brian's able to turn it around with some small talk about Mr. Weed's name.
They gave it to my grandfather on Ellis Island. Our original name was Bermuda grass.
And what was your grandmother's name? Mary Jane? See, I'm hip. I'm with it. Anyway. So it looks like the family has said all the right things.
I'm impressed. In fact, starting Monday, I would like to promote you to head of toy development.
See, kids, all it takes is one good dinner to take you from bumbling assembly line worker to company executive. Just look at Brian, he's speechless.
Brian, quit it. You're embarrassing me here.
Peter, Brian's choking. Do the Heimlich maneuver quick.
Ew, just don't get it on any of the food. Good catch. Oh, he's dead, isn't he? Luckily, Mr. Weed was prepared for this, creating a tape with instructions to be carried out after his death.
Good morning. Camera time.
Turn that off. I don't have my face on yet. I'm ugly.
Well, at least he's giving people a full show before he goes. But what he actually meant for them to see was...
The demolition will begin in... now.
A true captain always goes down with his ship. Mad respect. Funnily enough, Peter's next job after this would be as a ship captain, and all it took was a little accidental manslaughter in his own home. Next up is Muriel Goldman, wife of Mort and mother of Neil, who graduates from manslaughter to straight up murder. She first appeared in season 3, episode 8, The Kiss Scene Round the World. When Meg and Neil share a near-death kiss, Peter and Lois invite Neil's parents over for dinner, thinking they're in love.
Hi!
Hello.
Are we sure they're husband and wife and not brother and sister, because they look a lot alike? Then again, they could be both? Is that allowed in Rhode Island? But safe to say they don't make for very engaging dinner company, going on and on about how bad their first kiss was.
We were both very sick, weren't we, dear?
Ugh, we were terribly sick.
And honestly, she doesn't do anything all that interesting until her final living appearance in season 9, episode 1, and then there were fewer.
I'm gonna walk around. I think my vagina is asleep.
Okay, that's not the interesting thing I'm talking about. Muriel, along with the rest of the town, is tricked into attending a dinner party hosted by James Woods, who attempts to apologize for his past misdeeds.
Since I'm a man of God now, I am truly repentant. So, I invited you all here to make amends.
Yeah, I don't think anyone's buying that, Hades. But the night goes from weird to horrifying when guests start to be killed off, including Quagmire's date Stephanie.
Did the cork hit me?
And even James Woods himself.
Look!
As the guests argue over who the killer is, they come across a secret passageway.
My secret room's bigger.
Mine's smaller.
I'm sure it is, Herbert. The passageway leads to a secret room filled with diaries and a bunch of pills. Now it's really starting to sound like Herbert's secret room.
All prescribed to James Woods. And all from Goldman's pharmacy.
Mort doesn't know anything about that, but there is more than one Goldman.
Says here he talked Muriel into selling him Oxycontin for him and his 19-year-old girlfriend.
That's so unlike her. Or is it? Honestly, we really don't learn much about her.
He threatened to blackmail her by turning her into the feds.
Well, the mob's hungry for blood, and Muriel's hands seem to be covered in it.
No, it's not true. I would never kill anybody. Never.
But in traditional horror cliche fashion, the lights go out, and when they come back on, she's gone. Honestly, becoming a killer would have been the best thing she'd ever done for her character. But when the group decides to split up, Brian and Stewie hear her scream from down the hall.
Oh my God!
And just like that, that's the end of Muriel. Mort, do you have any kind parting words for the deceased?
She was so beautiful. She was so generous. We were married.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Wonder how Neil will deal with this loss.
Look who's still standing, bitch. Go buy yourself something nice in hell.
Okay, so nobody liked this character, huh? Now, I spend a ton of time watching Family Guy, and to do that, I have way too many subscriptions in way too many places that I forget about. But what can I say, clams aren't exactly known for their great memory. Well, today's sponsor, Rocket Money, is here to help. Rocket Money is an all-in-one personal finance app that helps you cancel subscriptions, lower bills, and manage your money better. Let me tell you something, Family Guy switched to so many channels and different owners that I just cannot keep up with who I've subscribed to anymore, which is why Rocket Money is my absolute go-to when it comes to canceling unwanted subscriptions. By just connecting my bank account, Rocket Money gives me a list of all my subscriptions in one place, meaning that within just a couple of taps, that subscription I've had for a year and forgotten about is canceled. That's the other thing I love about this app. Having a forgotten subscription means that I was spending way more money than I actually needed to. Rocket Money has helped its customers save up to $740 a year when you use all of the app's premium features, as well as saving customers over $500 million in canceled subscriptions. So don't be like me and spend a year wasting money on subscriptions. Go to rocketmoney.com/sweatyclam or click the link in the description to get started for free. You can also unlock even more features with premium. The next character, Horace, was much more liked since he was the former owner of the best bar in town, the Drunken Clam. He first appears in season 2 episode 18 E Peterbus Unum, but he doesn't exactly play a big role in this or any other episodes. I do wonder if he ever looked across the bar at Peter, Joe, Quagmire, and Cleveland and wished they'd ask him to join their group. It looks like Horace has been working at the Clam for a very long time, going as far back as the 70s.
Here you go, boys. Thanks, Horace.
While the gang's horrible taste in clothing has changed, their love of the Clam has certainly not.
Here's to the Drunken Clam, boys, where they don't ask for proof of age and neither do I.
Not sure that's something you want to just be saying out in the open, Quagmire. Who cares? Everyone probably loves the Clam too much to shut it down. But one day a crazy hurricane rolls through and completely destroys it.
It's not my bar anymore. I sold the place. Let someone else worry about hurricanes.
The boys are ecstatic until they find the Clam's been turned into a hoity-toity British pub.
Holy crap! It's a gay bar!
Sorry, British viewers, but Americans won the Revolutionary War, so I can't correct him. It's all right there in the Treaty of Paris. Thankfully, Horace comes back into ownership not long after.
Florida stunk. Alligator mounted me when I wasn't looking. Laid eggs in my lower intestine.
That's just a normal day in Florida, honestly. It's not for everyone, you gotta be ready to turn into a Florida man at a moment's notice. But before he did kick the bucket, he had a few brushes with death, like when New Yorkers rolled into town.
And I'm not sure, but I think I've been shot. Yep.
That's just the true New Yorker experience right there. But he survives that, only to nearly die again while fixing the TV.
I'll fix it.
Oh my God, is he dead?
Well, I'll leave it up to the expert on the subject.
Nah, he's just knocked out. Damn, I drove all the way out here.
This must be the equivalent of getting catfished in Death's line of work. But Horace would meet his end in season 11, episode 19, Save the Clam, during a community softball game. What a place to die during a game that, in the long run, doesn't even matter.
Hey, Goldman's Pharmacy, can you fill out a prescription for us for diarrhea? We're about to get the runs.
Gross, why would you? Oh, I get it, sports humor. But Mort has a secret weapon.
Meet our new teammate.
Surely Mort brought him on after a long discussion about baseball and not for any stereotypical race-related reasons. So with only one out to go, all Horace has to do is strike Jerome out or catch his hit. Honestly, that's on him. Most people usually try to catch the ball with their glove rather than their eye socket.
Oh my God, he's really hurt bad. You're out of the baseline, by the way. You're out, game's over. But oh my God, Horace is really hurt.
Good job, Jerome. Second appearance in the show and you've already killed someone.
He's dead.
Good thing Dr. Hartman's always conveniently around to feel someone's pulse and pronounce them dead. I feel like he does that a lot, right? And with Horace dead, the bank seizes the Drunken Clam. You know how in movies when all the kids get together and put on a show to save the orphanage or some junk? We need the same thing, but with a bunch of drunks trying to save the bar.
It ain't bank property no more.
And so Jerome becomes the new owner of the Drunken Clam. Isn't it kind of weird to own the business of the guy you killed? Maybe it's what Horace would have wanted, just possibly without a baseball to the head. Those are quite bad for your health. Almost as bad for your health as cigarettes are, which is what Thelma Griffin, Peter's chain-smoking mother, is hardly ever seen without. Her first appearance is very quick in season 2, episode 2, Holy Crap, showing her on a bender in Vegas.
Hit me, you 5-card stud.
But her first real prominent appearance was in season 5, episode 2, Mother Tucker, where she starts dating Tom Tucker. What a random combination of characters. So Thelma drops by with some exciting news.
Peter, I left your father.
Actually, the line is, Luke, I am your father? I tell you, I can't stand these fake Star Wars fans.
82 is the new 74. I'm putting my fine ass back on the market.
Oh, I still have that same self-esteem at 82. I don't even have it now. And yeah, I know the Star Wars line I just said isn't an actual quote from the movie. I was just trying to rage bait all you nerds in the comments. Did I get ya? Peter wants her to try to get back with Frances, but she's definitely moved on quickly.
Ah! Holy crap!
Having a new dad that's about the same age as you is just one of those life changes everyone needs to be prepared for. So Peter gives it a try for a while, finally having the dad he's always wanted. Tom even teaches him how to poop. You're never too young to learn.
Tom, there's no easy way to say this. I'll just come right out with it. I'm leaving.
I get it, life's too short and she's at the ripe young age of 82. She still has the whole world to see. But Thelma would reappear in the 10th episode of season 5, Peter's Two Dads, after Frances dies.
Who's my real father?
I knew this day would come.
It comes for all of us one day. Still waiting to hear who my real dad is. Hoping for a celebrity, but thinking my chances are slim, what with the whole being a clam thing.
About 40 years ago, I was vacationing in Ireland, and I met a young rogue named Mickey McFinnigan.
That's gotta be the most Irishy Irish name I've ever heard, but Thelma isn't done dropping bombshells just yet. In the 6th episode of season 6, Padre de Familia, Thelma makes another shocking confession when Peter comes looking for his birth certificate.
I don't know how to tell you this, but you weren't born in America. You were born in Mexico.
Okay, Peter has gotta stop visiting her. He seems to learn his entire life was a lie every time he does.
Peter, as far as the U.S. government is concerned, you're an illegal Mexican immigrant.
And aside from some small cameos, that's the last we see of her until season 12, episode 12, Mom's the Word, where Peter gets some unfortunate news.
Peter, your mother is dead. She had a stroke this afternoon and she died.
Oh, and Peter's wearing his shirt as pants because he pooped himself at work, just in case you were wondering. I guess the lessons from Tom Tucker didn't really stick. Luckily, Peter's a good son and makes sure that Thelma's final wish is fulfilled, being buried with her cat Mittens.
So I'd like to thank the Quahog Veterinary Society for putting Mittens down so quickly.
What a good son. She doesn't seem like the greatest mom in the world, but she was leagues better than Peter's father, as you will soon find out. But before that, let's look at Peter's boss at the Pawtucket Brewery who kicked the bucket, Angela. So Angela was the head of the brewery's shipping department and made her first appearance in season 4, episode 13, Jungle Love. When Peter gets the job, he's demoted to working in shipping for drinking on the job, where he's introduced to Angela.
Mr. Griffin, we have different rules here. For starters, no drinking. Period.
Then what's the point of even working in a brewery? It's like working at a flower shop and being told you can't sniff the product. Peter and Angela don't exactly get along, given he's often just goofing off. And yet Peter wonders why he's never Employee of the Month.
Congratulations, you made Employee of the Month again.
So instead of just working harder like a normal person, Peter tries to win Angela over.
Well, I asked around the office and everybody said you liked animals, so I organized a surprise fight.
Big props to Peter for understanding that those involve animals, otherwise this could have gone very poorly. I mean, it does anyway.
Oh boy. Oh god. Well, it looks like they killed each other.
Hey, it's the weird, misguided thought that counts, right? But it turns out all Peter needed to do to get her to like him was to come to work without wearing glasses.
I can see your eyes and your eyelashes. They're beautiful.
Who cares?
Angela, apparently. From there, her and Peter's relationship gets very familiar very fast.
Yeah, this is gonna work out just fine.
I guess the HR department just doesn't exist because Angela's got our guy coming to work in Daisy Dukes.
Damn, Griffin, you fill those out nicely.
If that wasn't bad enough, there's also a suspicious-looking hole in his office. I don't care what the sign says, you don't put anything in a mysterious hole. A lesson I learned in high school health class. When she demands Peter come over to work on a special project, Peter employs Quagmire to help him do the dirty work.
Let me get lined up right so she'll think it's you she's having sex with.
Wow, that's really clever.
Yeah, if the woman is blind. Even then, I still think she could figure it out. But Angela has 2 working eyes, so the plan is quickly foiled.
I would have had sex with you, but Peter neglected to tell me that you are a complete dumpster fire.
So Peter shuts down her advances and storms out, but returns later to give her a piece of his mind.
Angela, open up in there!
Something tells me she's not just hotboxing the pain away in there. Luckily, Peter saves her just in time, even if she isn't happy about that.
You should have just left me alone. That's how I'm gonna end up anyway.
It's been 10 years since she's been with a man, and Peter's rejection was the final straw. Hey, just a thought, but maybe you should try hitting on men that aren't married. So to cheer her up, Peter disguises himself as a wealthy aristocrat to take her out on a date, which does end up in a trip to the bedroom. Technically not cheating, since Peter had Mort in his pants, but I'm sure he still saw everything.
See you at work on Monday, Griffin.
Huh? Oh, I'm gonna have to have a word with Rite Aid about this fake mustache.
And Angela makes it all the way to season 17 before tragically passing away.
But at least Angela died doing what she loved. Swimming less than 20 minutes after she had eaten.
A very real thing. Let that hot dog digest before jumping in that pool, kids. Really, this death was done because Angela's voice actor, Carrie Fisher, passed away in 2016. So while her iconic character, Princess Leia, peacefully became part of the galaxy, her Family Guy character died at the bottom of a pool somewhere. I think she would have found that hilarious. But Loretta Brown, Cleveland's first wife, did not get as nice of a send-off. She first appears in season 1, episode 4, Mind Over Murder, and she and Cleveland's marriage lasts for 4 seasons before coming to an end after she cheats on him in season 4, episode 5, The Cleveland-Loretta Quagmire. So things get awkward during an evening on the boat when Quagmire accidentally throws a fish into Loretta's shirt.
Hey, can I have my fish back?
Oh, you gonna have to reach into the cookie jar.
Even Quagmire is a bit taken aback that he isn't the one making the first move, but he can't say no to reaching a hand down a woman's shirt. It's like his kryptonite.
Loretta, they have some of that 3-bean salad you're so fond of. Hey, Quagmire.
Yeah, early seasons Cleveland was kind of a wet blanket of a character, which is probably why Loretta doesn't mind a little extra attention. But she ends up getting a little bit more than just attention, which Peter and Brian end up walking in on.
Holy crap!
We should go.
But they don't know who was with Loretta. I guess it could be any skinny white guy with a Hawaiian shirt. So Peter breaks the news to her husband in the most delicate way possible.
Brian and I walked into your house, and she was with some guy going BAM! 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 BAM!
Thank you for the recreation, Peter. I think he gets the gist of it. And when Cleveland confronts her about this, her response is pretty blunt.
I'm a woman, Cleveland. I need some passion in my life. I need a real man.
Are you telling me this slow-talking, passive, no-backbone-having guy isn't the passionate lover I took him for?
Cleveland Brown, you are pathetic.
I disagree, but I respect your candor.
But here's an idea. Nothing brings back that spark like trying to kill your former friend.
You violated the sanctity of my marriage.
I totally get why he's mad at Quagmire about this, but let's not forget Loretta was the one who initiated it. Know your worth, Cleveland, and kick that 2-timer to the curb.
Loretta, what you did was unforgivable. This marriage is over.
Sounds good to Loretta, who then disappears until season 7, episode 1, Love Actually. In the episode, Cleveland manages to get himself back out there, but it just so happens to be with a girl Brian's seeing.
Oh, hey, Brian. Close that window. You're letting all the stank out.
Glad to see Cleveland's keeping the cheating train rolling, but really, Carolyn is to blame since she didn't tell Cleveland she was seeing Brian. So to get Carolyn back, because she definitely seems like a keeper, Brian goes to Loretta to try to get her to take Cleveland back.
But I can never go back to Cleveland. Not after all the pain I caused him.
What's this? Character progression in my Family Guy? Never thought I'd see the day. But she can't deny her feelings and tries anyway.
I want us to be together again as a family, and I promise I'll never betray you again.
Dang, Cleveland must have really picked up some mojo in between seasons.
I'm no meteorologist, but I'm pretty sure it's raining b****s.
But to try to protect Cleveland from being hurt again, Peter sicks Quagmire on her to try to prove she's still unfaithful.
You're the devil! You ruined my marriage!
Technically, you ruined it too. You don't just accidentally cheat on someone. Then again, Quagmire and Cleveland do have very similar body types and complexions.
You go on and beat it, little neck. I'm a changed woman.
Cleveland realizes this too, but he's also changed.
And as much as I still have a great deal of love for you, our time is over.
The two end up separating on amicable terms. That is, until she takes the house in the divorce.
My divorce was finalized and I lost the house to Loretta.
Oof, she just couldn't pass up the house that gets destroyed by Peter every month. And that'd be the last we hear of Loretta until Cleveland left Quahog for his own show.
She's dead.
Oh.
My thoughts exactly, Cleveland. So, how'd she die?
No!
Ah, so that house really wasn't worth it in the end. And so that was the definitive end of Loretta Brown, who was already kind of phased out of the show because Alex Borstein got tired of doing her gravelly voice. But don't worry, she still has decades of nasally line reads left for Lois in the future. And I know a lot of people were happy to hear of the demise of Doug, a fairly recent rival of Stewie's that first appeared in Season 17, Episode 17, Island Adventure. So Stewie and Doug first seemed to be pretty amicable.
Where are you headed?
Oh, I was just gonna drive through some puddles and see how long my tracks stay wet.
That's the kind of simple life I want to live. You think they make big wheels for adults? But we get to see their relationship develop further, as well as get a glimpse of Doug's home life in Season 20, Episode 1, LASIK Instinct, which kicks off with Doug accidentally getting run over by Lois.
Oh my god, please be a dog. Please be a dog.
Oof, you were just one letter off, Lois.
Oh, and Elsa underwear. This day just keeps getting better.
So to avoid a lawsuit, Doug's parents have the Griffins build him a treehouse. Honestly, they should make that a punishment for all minor crimes. Shoplifted? Build me a treehouse. Tax fraud? Build me a treehouse. Nearly kill my son in an auto accident? Why would I want money when I could have a treehouse?
Build this treehouse for my son. He will love it for a year until my housekeeper moves into it.
To say Doug's parents are absent would be an understatement. They pretty much make the Griffin guys spend time with him so they don't have to, like attending his t-ball games.
Look, hold the bat like this and then step into it as you swing forward.
Wow, that's more fatherly advice than I've ever seen him give his own kids. As more and more tasks start to get added, the guys are ready to call it quits.
I'll call your dad myself.
No, don't!
What the?
So Doug was the one making up all this stuff. Well, time to beat up a child.
Get him!
But when questioned about his actions, he says he just wanted a family and friends.
I'm sorry, but I didn't know any other way to get you to spend time with me.
He's a smug little guy, but you can't help but feel a little bad for his circumstances.
Let's just hate each other in public, and maybe not hate each other as much in private.
And so they do just that, as the two fight over becoming snack captain at school for Doug's last appearance in Season 21, Episode 10, The Candidate.
I'm running for preschool snack captain, throwing my diaper into the ring.
Today it's snack captain, tomorrow it's president of the United States. But the last thing Stewie wants is a Doug presidency.
Stewie Griffin is now running for snack captain, and I will defeat that jerk Doug.
So Stewie starts the campaign, and Doug hopes they can have a nice, clean race.
Oh, he nailed you!
Right after he slanders his opposition. Even preschool politics are cutthroat. This election is no holds barred, so Doug continues to attack Stewie's credibility and character.
And may I call your attention to my opponent's actions during the attack on the Capitol?
Well, if you wanted to know where Stewie was on January 6th, there you go, I guess. But Stewie sees his chance when Doug figuratively craps the bed and literally craps his pants.
We'll call him Poopy Doopy Doug. He'll never shake it. He surged in the polls?
The people love an honest man who wears a diaper. It shows he has no time for bathrooms and all the time in the world for you. So Stewie does a little investigative journalism to try and dig up some dirt on Doug.
Doug still uses a pacifier? Wait till the papers hear about this.
Yeah, what is he, a baby? But Doug has something a bit heavier to throw at him.
Stewie Griffin was a whoops baby.
I guess that would explain the pretty big age difference between him, Meg, and Chris. Aw, he's a happy little accident. And yet, Stewie eventually comes home with the snack captain hat.
It turns out 70% of the kids' parents aren't married and 30% are mistakes.
Dang, so Stewie really is a baby of the people. Hopefully Doug isn't too mad.
Oh, and Doug died in a commuter plane crash this morning.
Oh, how anticlimactic. But hey, at least Reddit's happy. And many of the Griffins were actually happy when Francis Griffin died. He was Peter's father, or at least who Peter first thinks is his father. Francis was a staunchly Catholic man who never really made time for Peter when he was younger, but has a lot of opinions to give him now.
It's a pity you couldn't find yourself a nice Irish Catholic girl, Peter.
Don't worry, Lois, you can always become a Catholic. They're still working out the surgery that turns you Irish, though. But Peter still loves his dad and wishes he would love him back. He even goes so far as to have him meet the Pope.
Holy Mother! It's the Holy Father!
The Pope tries to convince Francis that Peter's a good son. Imagine how much you have to dislike your son to question the Pope.
You've got soft on me, Holy Father. Even a tambourine-shaking Baptist could tell this boy's no good.
I guess the word of God only matters when it pertains to something he agrees with. Sounds familiar, doesn't it?
I just want him to love me. Peter, how could you say such a thing? I love you with all me heart.
How sweet. I love it when a father and son come together.
I just don't like you. I don't like anything about you.
This is as good as it's gonna get, huh? Well, the feeling's mutual, and that's okay.
The good Lord said to honor thy father. He never said anything about liking it.
But Francis would meet his end in season 5's 10th episode, Peter's Two Dads, during something I never thought I'd see. A Meg birthday party people actually showed up for.
Here, this is for Megan.
Oh, what is it?
It's a cookie from lunch period at the home.
Well, you can tell how little involvement he has in this family. Doesn't he know that Meg is short for Megatron? Well, at least he can maybe be proud of his son for a... I'm kidding, that's never gonna happen.
Peter, have you been drinking?
You might as well have asked if he's been breathing. He does both at about the same rate.
You look like a damn fool.
Dad, you won't say that when you see my grand unicycle finale.
Because nothing makes you look like less of a clown than doing clown activities. You already bombed with that scarf trick.
Peter, I don't think you're actually supposed to swallow those.
Yeah, let's cut away before we vomit, please. Now let's see that unicycle trick.
All right, this is gonna blow you guys away.
Grandpa!
Well, I'd say he's ready for Cirque du Soleil. And so, with his insides bleeding and only a few minutes to live, Francis imparts his final words onto Peter.
Peter, you're a fat, stinking drunk.
I'm glad he died doing what he loved, dunking on his son. Hopefully the family will take time to grieve accordingly. Yeah, I'd say that checks out. Since alcohol was technically what killed his father, Peter vows to give up drinking and lead a cleaner lifestyle.
Peter, what are you doing? What the fuck?
Maybe I was too quick to say cleaner lifestyle, but at least he isn't drinking. But while going to therapy, Peter makes a shocking realization.
Happy Father's Day, Dad!
I'm not your father.
Oh my God! Francis Griffin wasn't my real father!
You sure? I kind of feel like he probably told you that a lot to keep you from bothering him. But as it turns out, Peter does have a real father, an Irish drunk named Mickey McFinnigan.
You're the broth of me own stubby shillelagh, all right? Welcome to me family, Peter.
Yep, I'd say they share a bit more of a resemblance than Francis and Peter. So even though Peter found his true father, he still has a love for Francis for somewhat filling that role all his life. And a fear, considering his ghost came to haunt Peter after he briefly became Jewish.
If you forsake your religion, you'll spend eternity in hell.
Now that's a true dad, coming back from the dead to tell you you're still a disappointment. Safe to say he did more harm than good while alive. And before she died, Diane Simmons, co-anchor of Quahog 5 News alongside Tom Tucker, made sure she did a ton of bad to destroy her character. Diane was a long-running recurring character for much of Family Guy's early seasons, first appearing all the way back in the show's pilot episode, Death Has a Shadow. While she would mostly play background roles, she would occasionally be given more prominent appearances, like in Season 2, Episode 7, The King is Dead. So Lois is directing a showing of The King and I at the Quahog Theater. But what's tougher than producing a play? Keeping Peter from ruining it.
Well, what am I supposed to do with all my great ideas? Put them in a tub and clean myself with them?
If you can figure out how to do that, sure. Seems kinda counterproductive considering most of his ideas stink.
It's your job to make sure we sell every seat in this house.
So Peter tries to go to the news station to drum up some press, but Tom Tucker's too busy. He's in the middle of a very important meeting.
Hey, I recognize you from the television. You're Tom Tucker. I bet you can do this.
Okay, how about Diane?
Look, pal, some 2-bit community theater production is in news.
But what if you were the star of that 2-bit community theater production?
Our top story tonight. I will be playing the role of Anna in the Quahog Players production of The King and I.
Well, that's awkward because last I checked, Loretta Brown was playing Anna.
Loretta's a nobody. Diane Simmons is a star.
I'd say it's a bit of a stretch to call a local news anchor a star, but I guess she must look like a celebrity next to all these normies.
Oh, this is so awkward. You all know my name and I've never heard of any of you.
But does she have the stuff to be a lead actor? Well, she did do an art film in college. I didn't understand a lick of that, but it's in black and white, so you know it must be deep and smart. But Peter doesn't just stop with the recast, he continues to make dumb changes that still manage to earn him praise.
Isn't he brilliant?
No, he's not brilliant.
Clearly, Lois just doesn't have the IQ to understand a new age auteur like Peter, so she quits, leaving Peter in charge. But creative geniuses like him are never satisfied, so he keeps changing the play over and over, working the cast right up until curtain call.
I don't think we're ready.
Of course we're not. You keep changing everything.
Is Peter one of those creative geniuses who's thought to be an idiot until well past his time? Nah, I think he'll still be an idiot then.
I can't work this way. I quit!
That would be the last of Diane's prominent roles until Season 9, Episode 1, and then there were fewer, where she's another character at the Fatal Dinner Party, which also killed off the likes of Derek Wilcox.
Dear God!
And James Woods' girlfriend, Priscilla. You know, characters we've all come to know and love. The murders are initially pinned on Tom Tucker, but the next morning when Lois goes to comfort Diane, things become a little more clear.
You sound like my mother. She actually bought me this blouse for my first solo broadcast.
But how could she have known unless... Diane's mom is a time traveler!
Oh my god, it was you! You're the killer!
Oh, yeah, that probably makes more sense. But why? Well, it all started when Diane started to date James Woods around the time she turned 40.
Tom began pushing Channel 5 News to replace me with a fresh young face.
Not long after, James Woods dumps her. There really is no harder job out there than being a middle-aged woman, huh? So she enlists news intern Priscilla to seduce Woods and get him to try to right the wrongs he's done to everybody. Next time, how about just a simple I'm sorry card from a gas station?
I plan to kill James Woods and frame Tom Tucker.
But that's not even the most shocking realization according to Lois.
Oh my god. You're 40?
Yes, I'm 40.
Losing a bit of the plot here, aren't we, Lois? So Diane decides to do away with Lois by the cliffs, but when she goes to pull the trigger... And that ends the terror of Diane Simmons, shot down by a baby with a sniper rifle.
If anybody's gonna take that down, it's gonna be me.
With Diane dead, she would later go on to be replaced by Joyce Kinney, which is kind of ironic because we learn in And I'm Joyce Kinney, the 9th episode of the same season, that Joyce and Lois went to school together, meaning she'd be at least in her early 40s. So I guess she never really got replaced by someone younger after all. Also, I know she was shot, but we never see her dead body. Could she come back seeking revenge in a future episode? And another character who would definitely want revenge if they could return is Bertram, Stewie's equally genius and equally dangerous half-brother. Stewie first encounters Bertram in Season 3, Episode 11 in Mission Impossible, while the latter is still inside Peter's, coin purse. So after Peter and Lois witness the miracle of birth through Lois's sister Carol, they both decide to have another baby. Sure, what's one more? You're already doing so well with those other three.
You're gonna have a baby brother, buddy.
Or sister.
Oh, a new baby. That's wonderful.
I don't think it's registered in his brain yet.
What?
Oh, there it is. Safe to say he isn't taking it super well. If he's no longer the youngest, he'll just be the third child, and nobody cares about those.
As God is my witness, from this day forward, Peter and Lois shall not conceive.
Anyway, Peter and Lois decide to conceive later that night, so Stewie pulls a classic intimacy-preventing move.
Where? Mommy, Daddy, I had a bad dream.
The acting needs a little work. This is still the era of mad genius Stewie, not flamboyant theater kid Stewie. But to stop any chance of them having a kid, Stewie uses a shrinking aircraft to fly straight into Peter's body.
As was your fate, Mr. Fly, so is the fate of every sperm in Peter's body.
I think some kicks to the groin would have been enough to do that. I'm not sure you had to go through all this trouble. So Stewie finds the home base and begins blasting his potential future siblings Star Wars style. It all looks pretty epic until you remember this is all happening in Peter's nether regions. But before Stewie can destroy them all, he finally meets his match.
Well, it seems you're out of ammunition.
As are you, Stuart.
You know my name.
I mean, yeah, you used to live here too. When the two meet face to face, they bond on a very common interest.
Go ahead, finish me off. My one regret is that I won't be able to do away with that red-headed woman.
Finally, Stewie's found someone to gush about matricide with.
I dare say I should embrace the idea of having a little brother.
But unfortunately, another baby is seemingly taken off the table, as Peter and Lois would rather have more time to spend with each other. But Bertram would find a way to be born regardless in the Season 4 episode Sibling Rivalry after Peter visits a cryo lab and has a bit of an accident in the storage freezer.
There is absolutely zero chance that I spilled all the jars and had to refill them with my own
Something tells me the chances are a bit higher than 0. Maybe at least 5% because Bertram finally makes it out.
Victory shall be mine!
Stewie and Bertram would find themselves warring over the playground because clearly this town ain't big enough for 2 football-headed kids. That's why we had to kill Arnold.
Any last words?
You wouldn't kill me, would you?
I guess not, because Bertram would disappear for years before returning in Season 9, Episode 16, The Big Bang Theory. In this episode, Bertram learns that Stewie has a time machine and sneaks into his room to use it.
I am gonna kill one of your ancestors, effectively erasing you from history!
Oh, Bertram, you're still young. We adults have quicker ways of vanquishing our mortal enemies. They're called guns. So Stewie and Brian follow him into the past to track down Stewie's ancestor, and safe to say, he's a semi-well-known painter.
That must be Leonardo da Vinci. Stewie, he looks just like you.
I don't really see the resemblance. And as expected, Bertram arrives to try and kill Da Vinci, leading to a high-stakes aerial battle in Da Vinci's flying machines. I didn't see any of the Wright brothers stuff fire rockets, just saying.
You're about to be yesterday's hopscotch chalk on a sidewalk, Stewie. Erase?
Cool metaphor, but it's no match for Stewie's pun that not everyone will get.
Hey, Bertram, what's your favorite kind of bottled water?
Huh?
Mine's Arrowhead.
Bertram isn't the only evil baby Stewie's faced, but he's certainly one of the most dangerous. The little guy sure did make a big impact in only 3 episodes, the least amount of any other character on this list, that's for sure.